All right, today we are going to learn how to make a master mold. Here's the original mold for this little guy right here. So it took 3 hours to do the clay wall around this little gremlin guy. And then 2 days later, after making the mold, I ripped out a big chunk of this mold on accident, and now this mold is useless. And I wasn't done making castings of the gremlin guy right here. So the thing is I had to go in and make a whole new mold. More silicone, more clay walling, and the clay walling took three hours for this one. Again, took 3 hours for this one. So there's 6 hours it took to just put the clay wall around there to get, so I can get my seam lines perfect. Now I got the new molds done, which took 8 hours for this to cure on this side, 8 hours to cure for this side. So there's 16 hours of cure time, because you only mold up one side at a time. After these molds were done, I went in and did a master copy. So this is cast 50 over here. Fast cure time, you got a 2 to 2.5 minute work time, and the cure time is 10 to 15 minutes. This is an exact replica of what this mold is. So if this mold gets destroyed, all I do is drop this into a mold box, pour my silicone over the top of it, and I can cast both sides up at the same time, taking only 8 hours instead of 16 hours. And I don't have to do a clay wall again, and I don't have to put my keys in, I don't have to put my spruces in. Now, when I cast up these, I do not put the pour spouts in, nor do I put the spruces all the way to the top for the air release. I like to keep everything contained into the mold and cut those in afterwards, after the mold's finished. If I make a mistake, the nice thing is if I cut too much, I've got my masters here to make another mold. So let's pull this little guy out. This is made out of Flexit 90. This one is casted out of Flexit 90. Also can cast it out of Cast 50 or any of the other resins that we have. Now that we explained what a master is, these right here, we got our two sides. I got my part B of my Cast 50 in warm water, so it's heating it up. Again, you want to take that, you don't want water anywhere near your resin. So we dry that bottle off, get it all nice and dry. But what this does is it makes this nice and liquidy, so it releases all the air bubbles when we start working with our silicone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out a little silicone mat. I'm going to put these here on this side. I'm not going to drop them into the box yet. What I want to do is I'm going to pour in a small amount, and then I'm going to make sure I go through all the little details and get out any air bubbles that might get caught inside this casting. So we're going to do one side at a time. So we're going to take our silicone, we're going to grab 2 of our mixing cups, and we've got our main mixing cup. Now when using popsicle sticks, these release air bubbles. So it's best to use something that is non-porous. So something like this plastic. So this is what I'm using for my stir stick, is some plastic sculpting tool. I don't know what it is, but that's what we're going to use. So we have our part A and our part B. So our part B was soaking in the warm water getting nice and liquidy, because this one's always pretty liquidy. This one here kind of air dries, stiffens up. You want to make sure that it's all nice and mixed, or the viscosity of this resin is really, really low. So we got our mix cup. We are going to take and we're going to pour in to one line here. It's going to vary on your mold. So again, I can't give you any measurements. I'm going to pour this one up to one line. And it's good to have a dump mold near you. So give me 1 second and I'll be back, and I'm going to have a dump mold here so I can have a dump mold. All right, we're back. We got our dump mold. Throw our extra resin in that we don't need. I'm going to pour part B in. I'm going to pour part A in. Make sure we get nice and consistent. We're going to grab my stir stick, and I'm not going to beat it like an egg. I'm just going to slowly rotate it and get it all mixed up. We have a short working time with this, so we're going to pour it into the mold. And that's what we got there. So now we'll just dump out that excess. We're going to come in with our pokey stick. Make sure there's no air bubbles inside any of these little holes. We're going to just go around. That's a spot right there for an air hole that normally gets caught. Right here in the back fins. Drop that down. Make sure we get out all the little spikes. We're good to go. Make sure we get the back spike. All right. So now that'll set up and cure. We'll go over and look at it again. A little air bubble right there. Let's get that out of there. While it's still liquefied. There's one there. Okay, we're good. Now if you want, you can dust these with baby powder ahead of time. I just didn't do it. That actually wicks the resin right into those little small cavities. Smooth that air bubble out of there so it don't fall back in. Good here. And still looking good. Right down through my little air spouts there. Got a brush hair there from the brush. Let's pull that out. There we go. That one's good. Now while that one's curing, we'll move that one off to the side and we will go to the next one. We'll pop our lids off. Again, I put my lids back on, especially on side B, due to the fact that it is an air drying side, and therefore it gets the crustiest and crappiest. Let's go over here, mix this one up to line 1. And pretty soon we'll start going into bigger batches, but these are our small batches just to get the air bubbles. So I'm going to pour these two together. You can see this one has started to kick, and I didn't grab another mixing thing, so I'm going to have to use a popsicle stick. So we're going to stir this up and get this going. Again, we got 2.5 minutes worth of work time depending on the heat and the humidity in your area. We're going to pour this one in. And again, you normally do a fine little stream, and we're going to dump that into our dump mold. And we're going to go around and get all our little details. And it's okay if it overflows here out this pour spout, because this one does have the pour spout and the other ones don't. We want to get up there in the eye, the eyebrows, down here in the chin. We want to get around in here. Got some little spikes right here on the arm and little fins. Want to get all those. Sometimes you have to turn your mold around, or sideways and around, so you can see all the sides. Make sure you're getting it all, because there ain't nothing like getting it all done and all of a sudden you have an air bubble in it. I mean, you can always fix it, patch it up later, but it's best just to get it done the first time right, so you don't have to deal with it later. So get it in our feet, get some right up in there, make sure we have some on that part of the foot. Alright, and it's going to start kicking here in a second. Make sure I don't have any air bubbles in that fin. Again, poking that eye, poking above that eye. Make sure we don't have any air bubbles, and now we just let it set. And it'll kick here. Now the thicker the resin, the faster it'll kick. So it'll take longer for it to kick on the thinner sections than the larger sections. And you can watch it kick over here on this side on our dump mold. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to leave it running, but I'm going to speed it up so you don't have to sit here and watch this stuff kick in. Alright, I readjusted the camera because, again, I'm reaching out across the table. Here we're going to work right up against the table. Again, we're still waiting for this to kick a little bit more. That's our second one. Put our first one over here. Take a look at our mixing cups. That one's gelling up nicely. This one's looking pretty good. We'll grab another one. I'm using silicone mixing cups. Just nice to have reusable mixing cups instead of wasting a lot of time. Now, it's easy to clean the resin out of these little plastic containers, so these can be reused as well, but I just end up throwing them in the trash can. So now this one's kicked up pretty good. So now we're going to actually go in and do some more stuff on this one. So we're going to fill this up to 2 now, which again, the ratios are going to be different for yours because your mold is going to be a different size than mine. Alright, so we got our 2 A and B's. Make sure you keep those separate so you're not pouring accidentally one into the other and then all of a sudden you go to pour in and it kicks on you way too fast. So we're going to pour our B in, we're going to pour our part A in, grab another mixing stick, make sure you get the sides, get the bottoms. Alright, so now we're going to pour into our spots here and here. And we'll just start filling in some spots in here. And this one's kicked off enough, so we're actually going to pour some more in this one. And it's going to just pour right out the pour spout. Get inside all these little holes. Make sure we're not trapping any air bubbles. So I'll start kicking here in a second because I can feel the warmth of the silicone, or I mean the resin. Yeah, it's getting thicker. Let's get that in there. Throw in there just the water tension, surface weight. Get it to crown up a little bit. Okay, so didn't need to use the dump mold for that. So we got resin. The reason why we're using the silicone mat is because of the mess that we're making here. Again, closely looking for some any air bubbles that we might see. We don't want air bubbles. Good. 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 All right. Now we'll let this kick, and then we'll actually drop these into the boxes. I don't think I need to show you how to build a box. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Hot glue, foam core board, sealed up, got the rubber bands just around it just to make sure that it doesn't expand. It shouldn't. A lot of people use Legos. I don't like using Legos. I don't like all that lines down the side of my molds. Yeah, once this kicks that I can move it, or gels up enough that I can move it, then I'll stick them in the boxes. Now this one here, I put the box straight up to the side. So therefore, I only got this top section. On this one here, we're actually going to cast the walls of the box all at the same time. So basically you don't have to ever build a box again for your mold either. Once you drop it in there, you pour your silicone, or once you go to cast it with your silicone, it basically already has the walls, so you never have to worry about it again. I did not treat this foam core with any wax, anything, don't need to. This really doesn't stick to the resin. I mean, it sticks to the resin, but it doesn't stick to the resin. It's only paper, so it actually will just peel off. And then, as you can see, it has a little gray, blackish tint down the side of my resin, which is not going to affect anything anyway, so I ain't going to worry about it. So I think those have kicked good enough where I can just drop it into the mold. Grab my tool, kind of slide it to where I need it to go. You want to kind of center it inside your box. What you want it to do is you want the resin to run down this side. So we're going to be pouring these sides before we start finishing out the top here. And hopefully the resin does not delaminate itself from its from itself. So let's get that one in. Grab my little stick, center it up. That way we have the same wall thickness all the way around. Good enough. All right. That's got a big wall thickness on that side. Let's move this one this way. Same way with this side. Make sure you get over the top of it so that you're seeing what you're doing. A little hard with the camera, and I don't want you to see the top of my head, but you're going to see some of the top of my head anyway. That one's good, that one's good. Let's go a little bit more there, a little bit more on that side there. Drop it in. Use as a feeler, kind of slide it around. Good to go. Let's find our first cup. That's our second cup. Our first cup has already kicked. So basically when I pour resin back into this one and start sloshing it, it's not going to affect the cure of the resin. So let's put those out in the spot, just like that. Now we're going to go all the way to the top line. Not to the brim, but to the top line of this little cup. Same way with this one. I'm going to go all the way to the top line. And I find using these little kitchen dispenser things probably the best thing out there for keeping your resin nice and instead of having to use the big jugs all the time. So again, instead of using this big resin jug and tipping out of it, we're just using these little things here. So let's pour those together. Grabs ourselves our first stir stick because it's already cured and ain't going to affect our curing time. Now make sure you're in a well ventilated area because this is going to kick off a lot of exhaust out of this mold. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have my fans going and my ventilation going, so make sure your box is sealed. I'm going to pour from a nice high distance. I'm pouring down the side of the mold, just like you would do with silicone. To push out any air bubbles. Shake it around a little bit, make sure we got all our air bubbles out. Do a little drop, just like that. We're good. Our second one should have been kicked by now. So now we can go straight to the next one. So let's fill this one up. I always replace my lid to try to keep the air from being inside the bottle. Just like that. Take our two, pour them in. Grab our first stir stick, mix it up. Pour this one in, do the exact same thing, go down the side, or try to go down the side. Again, I can't look straight over the top of the mold because of the camera. You know, I don't want you, my head would be blocking your view. All right. So, first cup, second cup. Third cup is already kicked. Got our third mixing stick. Now I can go straight onto this one. So we're going to go into, yeah, I could be using bigger portions, but you know, I'm in no hurry. So, forgot to put my cap back on. Producing a lot of air bubbles there, but really don't make a difference. Mix those up again. We want about a 1/4 inch distance over the top of this mold. So we want a nice, good, thick master. So that one's stirred up. Do the same thing. We're going to pour in a corner. Now this is going to help kick this one off from the previous one because you have previous heat going on. Looking for any air bubbles, shake it around, get it moving around there, shake out those air bubbles. Drop it a couple times if you have to. This mold leaked a little bit, but the thing is, the bottom's already cured out, so I don't have to worry about it leaking out anymore. So there was a little leakage out of that one. There's no leakage out of this one, but there was leakage out of that one. Okay, I'm going to use this bigger cup here, because now we're going to cast back into this one. Now if you have a respirator, should be good to use a respirator at this time as well, because again, you are producing a lot of gas. Don't have a respirator on because I am talking, and again, my area is well ventilated, so therefore I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to pour into this one. Grab me another stir cup. Mix this around. Get the sides, get the bottom. Again, I'm not worried about timing on this one due to the fact that I'm not picking up details. My beauty coat's already done, so I don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. All right. Let me slash that one around. That one's already kicked. See how fast it's kicking already, so that one's not kicked yet. That one's not kicked yet. That one's not kicked yet. So let's go grab another mixing cup. All right. Also, this is producing a lot of heat too. So there's a lot of heat coming out of this son of a gun. So we got our mixing cup, got a stir stick. All right, so let's pour another batch. Make sure that you are mixing your resin like you should. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. When I'm doing the mold parts themselves, I use a scale instead of just going by eye off these little mixing cups. I find working with a scale and weight is a lot more accurate than actually going off with 1-to-1s. So I'm going to pour my get the bottoms, get the sides. Make sure you know you're not beating it like an egg. We're just spinning around. We don't need to put more air bubbles into it, even though that we are releasing air bubbles with our popsicle sticks. I'm pouring a lot faster now. And this one's going to take one more dump after this one, and then we'll be done. So I'm just going to slosh it around a little bit. This one's ready to go, so let's go with this one. Let's move that cup out of the way. And resin's cheaper than silicone, so I'm not worried about wasting some resin. Now some people might be worried about cost of resins and stuff like that. I'm just not. Again, we are using Cast 50 for this mold, or Masters. So it's a nice quick casting or quick curing resin. I like it. So mixing that up nice and deep. This one here looks like I only need this one, but I could be wrong. I might need one more pour after this. Let's take a look. See where we're at. Slosh it around, drop it down a little bit, get rid of some air bubbles. Check the camera. All right. Casting pretty quick here, so let's see. Grab this one. We're gonna do one more fill of this. There. Do one more fill of this one. We're going to dump into our first cup. Flip the stir stick. Spin that up nice and smooth. Getting the sides, getting the bottoms. Done. Check my distance on that. See how far we need to. Oh, I might have to go one more dump on that one. This one here seemed pretty good, so we're just going to do a half a dump on this one. So we're going to take that one, put it to the side. Got to take my lid off. There we go. Pour that one in there. Flip the stir stick around. It wasn't cured yet, but I can flip the stir stick around. I'll just throw a stir stick around just because you use one side. Pour that in. Alright, that one's done. Now we're going back onto this one. This one here, I think, needs one more full dump on it. Forecasting, again, should put your side B into warm water and shake it up. And that way it'll get all the air bubbles to the top. And it'll be nice and viscous for you. Because that's what you definitely want. Nice, viscous resin. Well, I guess I'm not using the poking stick no more, so I guess I can use it for a stir stick. Alright, pour that one in, nice and quick. Got a little air bubble right there in the corner. Let's just get rid of that right off the bat. Good to go. Any air bubbles around there? Nope. So now we'll just wait for this to cure and we'll debox these. So I'll stop the video and I'll come back. All right, here we have our two master molds done. So we'll just pull the rubber bands off. Oh, well, that one just broke. That's okay. Throw it in the trash can anyway. Grab that one, pull that one off. Good to go. Grab our X-Acto blade, cut down one of our corners, and just gotta get through the paper. Just start peeling apart. This thing's still nice and toasty. All right. You can see our paper is not sticking to the resin. It's not the funnest thing to take off, but it's okay. If you wanted to, you can actually could have went to and wax the sides and use something different. But of course, wearing gloves is not helping any because I can't grip onto the paper. Like that. Probably should have got a sharper X-Acto knife. There we go. Release our paper. And of course, we have some undercasting there from the resin, but again, it don't stick to the silicone, so which is nice. Get that peeled off. Go back. Start pulling our mold. Take the gloves off, make it a lot easier for me. All right. Got to get some air back behind there. A lot of suction going on. Doesn't help with that lip right there either. Let's get that out. And I'm forcing the knife into the resin side, not the silicone side. Because again, you don't want to damage your mold. Get up here. Yep. Go around this side. See, we had some overrun. There's our resin that ran underneath the mold. Now that we got that all done, go around. Forcing the blade into the side of the resin, not to the silicone. Get rid of that flashing. That wall's a little thinner on this one. I don't like that, but that's okay. Want a perfectly square mold anyway. Alright. That one's good. That one's good. Get our plastic tool. Get ourselves in a corner. Start popping that up. A lot of suction in there. On this side. Try not to break the mold. And once we get some of it out, we can get prying, little pull, little here, little there. Voila. Didn't help that I had some undercuts on the side of my molds here, so I had some little undercuts from where I didn't have enough release from where the silicone was at the first time. So now we can examine it. Yeah, a little over flashing there. Get that out. All right, we'll do just a little bit of cleanup here. Don't need to, but we're going to do it anyway. Just go around my edges, make sure they're nice and dull, not sharp. Don't need a sharp edge. Sharp edge where that corner was at, that was glued together. So let's get rid of that. Don't have to be perfect. Get rid of that side. that side. Little whittle in there. There we go. Take out that corner. There we go. That was my sharp. Trim down this corner. Trim down that corner. Trim down that corner. Trim there. Want to take a file to it, whatever. All our resin cuts. Got the trash can. Dump them right in. Just like that. There's our 2 box molds, masters, casted from the originals, or from the molds. Therefore, if these molds ever fail, all I have to do is I don't even have to build a box. So like this one here, you'd have to build a box for. This one here, the box is already there. So basically, you pour your silicone into there, and in 6 hours, 8 hours, you will have your molds. Instead of casting up one side, pull out the clay, clean it up, do the other side, you're done. So therefore, this is going to save you time. All right, this is how you make a master copy of your mold without a vacuum chamber or a pressure pot for bubble-free casting. Here we have the top castings. So basically they just go right on the top. These require building a wall if you want to make another silicone mold off of these. This one here is a box mold. This one's ready to go. Just pour your silicone in, throw it in your pressure pot, and you have yourself a identical copy to this mold. If this mold ever gets damaged, again, you can just make another mold super quick, or if you're making a product run, pour your silicone in, let it cure, pull it out, pour your silicone in, let it cure, pull it out, pour your silicone in, let it cure, pull it out, and the characteristics are exactly the same in every single mold. So if you know you're getting air bubbles in one spot, it's going to be the same in every single mold, so you know exactly how to fix that problem. The silicone I used in this is Cast-A-Mold 30 TF. This is an 8-hour curing silicone with a 15-minute work time. These pieces here are done with Cast 50. Fast curing time, you have 2.5 minutes, and demolding time is 10 to 15 minutes depending on your climate. Same way with this one is Cast 50. This little guy here in the center is casted out of Flexit 90. If you're looking for a flexible silicone that is not going to break when you drop it or throw it, Flexit 90 might be the resin for you. And again, this is Specialty Resins, and have a good day.